Hi all, AD here from Hans & Johns. As always, thank you so much for clicking on my video. I'm in deepest, darkest West Sussex. I'm in a little village called Lynchmere. We're right on the border and I'm at St. Peter's Church here. Really, really ancient, got some really interesting features, shall we say. Quirky is more than interesting, so let's go and have a look. And it looks lovely at the moment because it's all decked out for Christmas. So let's go. And as we head into the church, we pass by the beautiful lich gate and these really tall gates. Aren't they beautiful? So St. Peter's sits here on a lovely high spot and it's right on the Surrey border and it overlooks rolling fields and woodland. And it just feels immediately peaceful here. It seems like history is almost tangible in the air around you. And when we head out to the churchyard, which is at the back, you'll see open views across the Weald. It's a rich patchwork of countryside that shaped people's lives here for centuries. Now, this part of southern England has very deep roots. The landscape was shaped by ancient trackways and settlements long before parish church buildings were constructed. And St. Peter's location on one of these gentle ridges reflects both the ancient heritage and the importance of its place in English village life. And we're going to head in now. It was a great time to come and visit this church because the floral displays were absolutely magnificent for the Christmas season. Now, this beautiful font is 12th century and it's carved out of a solid block of Purbeck marble. It's cream in colour and most fonts used to be kept full of water, but when the Pope found out that the English peasants were stealing it to anoint their sick animals, he ordered them all to be locked. But they're not nowadays, most of them are empty. And then there's this lovely story about how in 1869 the vicar who lived opposite the church saw a lamb racing up the hill during a thunderstorm. He sent his son out to see where it had gone and it was found nestling under the font. And they have taken this lamb as a symbol of the church and the village. It's a lovely story, isn't it? And here there's a memorial actually engraved in stone, which I haven't seen before, for all of those who lost their lives in the Great War. And there's also little bits of history engraved. And on the left here you're going to see a big map, and that was completed for the parish appraisal in 1995, but it has changed considerably since the parish has enlarged considerably since then. And we're also now going to look at a beautiful stained glass window, and that was designed by Farah Bell, and it's dedicated to the Reverend Geoffrey Tibbs, who was the vicar from 1932 to 1957. So on the left it's the last prior of Shulbreed, and George Walden is holding a replica of the priory. He moved up the hill to become the first vicar of the Church of England. And on the right, two modern children are holding up a replica of the church, and if you look carefully you will also see Geoffrey Tibbs' naval chaplain's badge. And to the right here there's a centenary parish map, and West Sussex County Council Record Office suggested that parishes should celebrate the year 2000 and record the occasion with a special map. And above here you see hanging from the beam is a model of the Golden Hind. A parishioner, Kenneth Schweder, I apologise if I've said his name wrong, he was an excellent local craftsman and made many model ships. The vicar called on him one day and put the idea of a votive offering to him. This is the result. Lynchmere has many connections with the sea, not least a vicar who was a naval chaplain and a churchwarden who was also an admiral. When we entered the church, we came in through the north door, and then directly opposite the south door is this beautiful glass door, and it looks directly out at the beginning of the Sussex Weald. And for now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. But what a beautiful view. And to the right here is the original Saxon part of the church. Look how tall it is. The church would have been originally taller than it was long, and the original building extended as far as the present pulpit. And this door is Saxon, and it's 1,000 years old. And these slots that you can see here, there would have been 3 pairs of these, and as the wall was built, 3 oak beams were placed in it. There were no windows in the church then, so the beams across the church was impregnable. Absolutely stunning. And then over to the left here, I noticed this box on the back of one of the pews. I've never seen this before. If anyone knows what it is, please do let me know in the comments. Must have been to collect donations, I'm not really sure. I don't know that much about churches. I just go out and explore, so I'm always happy when people can educate me. So this window head is of the 11th century. It was found in 1906 in the northwest angle of the nave walls, where it had been built in old material. It no doubt it originally lit the north side, so it just confirms that the design of it, there was never any glass in the windows. And I also found these little note cards that were just sitting on the side there with some interesting facts. I don't know if they'd been left there to help visitors out before days of the internet, or if somebody had left them there by mistake. So there's some little bits of information as we go along, and it has the date of the dissolution, 1536 to 41. And then there's another beautiful stained glass window in the nave, and that's actually a memorial to Agnes Pratt Barlow. Lovely. And I loved the display here with the holly and the candles. And there's more here. Absolutely beautiful again, whoever does the flowers. In 1849, when the church was extended again, Henry Woodyer removed a stone screen that separated the nave from the chancel and replaced it with this present oak screen. The oak choir stalls and the pulpit and an English altar were installed. Now these are considered to be some of the finest examples of Woodyer's work. There's some stained glass windows here as well. You've got St. John, St. James, and the beautiful reredos, or reredos, however you say it, don't come at me, is also a product of Henry Woodier's design. Absolutely beautiful. And the window above the altar on the left is the crucifixion, and on the right window you can see the Ascension. And also here up on the altar there's a beautiful stained glass window for St. Peter. There's also this little picture here. I've got no idea who that is, and I couldn't find any information. Now there's a piscina up here, and it's really unusual because it's on the east wall of the church and they're usually on the south, and these were used to wash the communion vessels. And again I found some more information actually engraved into the stone, which is fantastic. And we're going to move into the next aisle, and this was done by Woodyer again. So it was opened up with a stage and a nave altar and a console for a large digital organ. But over the last 100 years there's been 2 different organs there, because one was hand blown and replaced by an enormous one that filled the space and it was too large. There was also some blush stained glass by Woodyear, but it was in a bad way, so they've had it replaced. Now in 1905 the congregation had grown again, so they had to extend it again, and these oak columns were modelled on some 14th century ones in Selmeston Church in East Sussex, which Woodyear had recently restored. And then again, love this, engraved into the stone are all the previous rectors, priests of the parish over the years. I can't read the years because I don't really know my Roman numerals very well. And then we move into the children's corner where children can play and read books whenever they want during the services, and there's 3 wooden statues. There's St Christopher, St Francis and the Virgin and the Child. Beautiful big oak beams. And now I'm going to show you what I really came here to see. Look at this. Isn't it amazing? Look at those faces. So what we're looking at here are the 7 deadly sins, and it's a bas-relief dated from 1300, and it was purchased by Frank Pratt Barlow in the south of France and built into the wall, and it's made of volcanic rock, while the monks' faces are made out of marble. Now, so we got pride, avarice, which is greed. I mean, he's given his friend next door the side eye there, isn't he? Then we have anger. I mean, is he angry, or is it just because he hasn't got any teeth? Who knows? We've got envy next door. I love how their hands, like their fingers, are still completely intact. I wonder if the faces are a little bit shiny there where people may have been touching them. So we have gluttony. Then we have lust. He just looks unhappy really, doesn't he? And then he's got his friend next door, which is sloth. Definitely never seen anything like that before. If you've ever seen another one of those, do again let me know in the comments. I'm not an expert, and I'm just giving a little donation here. If you do want to support the channel, you can always use Buy Me a Coffee, or if there's a direct link to the church, I always include that in the description. And there was a little box there for a fabric fund, whatever that was. Maybe it was something different back in the day. I'm going to take a walk round to see the churchyard now. And now this building is constructed of rubble stone, which was local materials of the countryside. And it means, and you can see that the walls themselves are a record of centuries of craft and repair. They're kind of like a living history book in stone. And I do not know what this was down here. Couldn't find out any information. I can imagine standing in the churchyard on a clear day, and that you can probably see far across the Sussex and Hampshire countryside. And it's really easy to imagine medieval villagers looking out from this high ground, and you can imagine them walking across the field to attend services. So there's no doubt many generations here of farmers and soldiers, and I found a Commonwealth War grave here. Rest in peace, sir. Thank you for your service. And as you can see, it's on like 3 tiers. So you had the bottom bit down here. There's a couple of unusual graves there. And then it's all like sloped up. And I think this is one of the original slopes to get up. And it still has an old wooden handrail here, which I thought was rather lovely. Can you hear what's going on out there? Totally unrelated to the church, but can you hear? There's a situation going on outside here. It's on a single track road, and they're arguing over who should reverse back. God, I'm going to wait a few minutes before I leave them. Not get involved. I'm going to wrap the video up here. So you've even got a little bit of road rage in a rural English village thrown in. That all got a little bit heated and people came out of the houses, but it all got resolved eventually. 10 cars were stuck because one car wouldn't reverse up the road. And I'm going to show you actually. So it's narrow, but I know for you guys in America and that you'll be horrified, but we're quite used to driving on roads like this. Let me show you. So you just had to reverse into that little lay-by there, and then everyone could get past. We're used to it. If you drive in rural England, that's not that unusual. You get used to it. So anyway, I'm going to wrap the video up here. Thank you so much for watching. Thought that was quite a quirky little place, quite a few interesting little bits, wasn't there? And as always, if you could please like and subscribe, I really would appreciate it, and hit the hype button. It doesn't cost you anything but means an awful lot to my little channel. And I shall see you for the next one. Might be a hunt, might be a jaunt, who knows, but thanks anyway for watching. Just hope there's no more road rage on the way home.